Welcome back. My name is Dr. George Mochocki, or Dr. George. Today we're going to be starting Chapter 3 from the Principles of Management book that you're taking at the College of Lake County, or as you know, Business 223, Principles of Management, either online or hybrid. This is a short 15 to 20 minute overview of the chapter. I'll go through the PowerPoints, and these are PowerPoints that are utilized in the class. Remember, you can always utilize the publisher's PowerPoints, or you could go into McGraw-Hill Connect and utilize their PowerPoints that they have when you click on the homepage. So let's go. We're going to start the presentation. I'm going to the next one. Manager as a person. You are what you think. If you don't think you have managerial skills, if you don't think you'd be a poor leader, that's what you are. You can be a poor leader. So part of this class is to build your own confidence, to learn and to look at some of your emotional intelligence, look at some of your attributes that you already have, and now I'm going to say you can use these attributes to become an effective manager, okay? So you could be a manager. I could almost teach anyone to be a manager. I mean, some are, when you look at the traits theories, some are natural born leaders to a point, because they got the charisma, the body, the looks, and everything else. But others have a lot of the going there. They've got rationale, they've got knowledge, they've got expertise, they got a different type of a charisma. They've got that thing that when they speak, people listen to them. Okay, so we have this one. So, and the next one, the big picture. We're going to talk about 5 personality traits. Now, some of us remember we all have all these personality traits. It's just that some that are on the top are more prevalent that we seem to use more often than other ones. So don't freak out. And what you want to do is kind of balance your personality traits, and we'll talk about which ones may be better or which ones are worse. And that's what you're going to find out through the reading. Other important about traits managers. Remember, traits, if you looked at traits, and we'll get into that, different values, my value belief system may be different than another manager's value belief system. My value belief system may be different than some of my employees. But what kind of a belief system do I incorporate when I'm managing a company? The company has a value. The company has a belief system, for lack of a better word. I have to make sure that mine mirrors into there. I don't bring out too much of my own value. If my values clash, then I'm in the wrong company and I should be moving along, okay? Bottom line, all right? And then organizational culture. Companies as a whole, I teach business organizations, companies as a whole have a personality. If you go to Yahoo, you have a different type of personality than if you go to IBM, or if you go to a Pacific Sun store, has a different personality than you go to the Gap. So corporations have a different, organizations have a culture. And our culture, our own likes and dislikes, kind of, well, not exactly mesh completely with all organizations, just like we don't mesh completely with a lot of other individuals. But the majority of them do connect together. So that means that we're in the right organization, we hired the right individual. So companies are trying to hire managers that will either change the culture going forward or change something or maintain the same culture they have right now. Okay, so we've got that. So let's go. I got to keep on running. So if I look at manager to person, extrovert, negative affectively, agreeable, conscientious, open to experience, all these we possess. Do you understand that? But some of us are more in the high end here than over here. So what you're trying to do through some of the assessments, see where do I fall in? Because sometimes what if I have a whole team of extroverts? And I'm a person that's not an extrovert, introvert, or an agreeable type of person. I may have some issues, So I got to figure out how to work the team so I understand how to move with all this, because these are the individuals at certain times, at certain points of their life, or certain aspects of the job, they may fall into that. Okay, so and that's what you find out for reading. Just understand it. The big 5. Can you analyze? Of course, not just simply know key elements to management effectiveness. I mean, these are just big 5. These are just like, I don't want to say I'm stereotyping. Stereotyping means everyone falls into this once I had it. I'm just saying I'm generalizing. So I understand when I'm talking with people, when I communicate with individuals, how could I get my message and understand and make the connection and bring it into a non-conflicted type of a conversation, or more into like a team building. Okay, so you have that. So you're extrovert, sociable. Introverts is quiet, negative, distress, more critical, emotional, more stable, agreeable is liking, trust. You can't always agree as a manager. Look, I like to agree with everything that you want to do, but as a manager, I have to follow rules and procedure. If I agree because I want people to like me, I'll never be an effective manager. Remember, I have to be one that takes a stand. Don't worry, people are going to talk about you. People are always talking about you. That's just life. That's just human nature. I can't get around that. But what you want to do is I want them to respect me. I'm always consistent. They don't understand my rationale. And if I'm afraid, if I just want to be a likable person, I'll be stressed out because I cannot make everyone happy. I can make the majority of the individuals see which way I'm going. Remember, you're a manager. You are bringing the organization or the people working for the company into a focus to meet organizational objectives. That's why they hired you, and that's why you manage people. If you manage them with respect, you manage them because of the diversity. You manage them because of their religion. You manage them about the different functionality. All these will make us what makes this organization strong, because we're all looking at the same goal, but from different perspective. And as a manager, I have to take those perspectives and make it one perspective going forward. Just like a car, you got different components. You got the tires, you got this. But if one thing goes wrong, the whole car is non-functional. So as a manager, I got, or like a mechanic, for lack of a better word, I got to manage all of it. I don't know if that's the best word, but I want you to understand. Okay. So now you have movies. When you look at this clip, most of us saw the movies. What kind of a manager do you think he is? And so you could talk about self-awareness. To be an effective manager, look, if there's something that irks you about some other individual, that's probably something that I do. It's a bad habit, and that's why I see it in another person, and it's, oh man, I'm not that bad, but they're just as, they're worse. And that's what you have to look out. You got the halo effect. You also have some things, I like certain people because they got certain personality. Just because I like all Polish people, I hire all Polish people. I'll have issues because as a manager, we're all too much alike. We start thinking alike. Groupthink is good, but it has to be controlled. Okay, so self-awareness, important to understand. The boss, manager. I'm the boss. Lots of times, people may not be as open to me as a boss because they're intimidated because I could reward and punish. The other aspect I have to look at as a manager, as a boss, is that what do you call it? Are they nice to me? Or telling me what I want to hear, but that's not reality. Remember? So if you look at top management, when you're going forward, as you move up, you'll bring people that you could trust. They're still effective, they're still good workers, they're everything else, but you don't have to watch your back because they'll watch the back for you because they're basically out there because they're good people, got good morals, got good values, and they're basically working to make sure that the organization as a whole succeeds and not looking for the next promotion. If you do this well, you'll be promoted going forward. Remember, as a manager and a manager, it's not what I did. I didn't do anything. It's what my team did. That's what they're looking for. How did I develop my team? And that's what I have to look. So, a boss, for me to have people to come up with ideas, I got to be personable. I have to be with the team. I have to make sure they're not intimidated by me. All right. So they have to know. So you look at self-esteem, self-achievement, self-affiliation, need for power. These are things that all individuals, I want to be self-esteem. Feeling good about myself. I need the achievement. I'm going up for my next promotion. I need affiliation, good relationship with my employees. And we all like to be power. All of us like to be in charge of something once in a while, right? Okay. So we have that instrumental. Shows you the trip, what kind of weather. Look at that. They'll talk about it. Here's all the values. Remember, I'm already at 8 minutes. I'm trying to make this at least to 15 minutes. Attitude. If I look at, you want to get promoted to a supervisor or manager, and you always got a negative attitude. Okay, I was going to say piss poor, but that's not very, but that's to the point. You got a negative attitude. Let's look at it that way. I have a negative attitude, and why is no one ever promoting me? Because if things don't go right, as a manager, he or she has to pick up the pieces. Okay, and I didn't work right. I know the boss is a jerk. I know the company's policy is this. But look, we can work with this. We're a team. We can still make this happen. Those are the kind of attitudes you are looking for. Those are the type of attitudes the organization are looking for. Those are the type of attitude me as a manager that I'm bringing to mentor someone up. You can have all the managerial degrees you want, and if you have a poor attitude, I will not hire you, because I can just tell right off the bat you got like a chip on the shoulders. You don't come across personable but still firm. Okay, so you have the attitude, job satisfaction, or mood, feeling. So it's just a description, so it tells you everything about emotions. Remember, my moods, I can't have a mood swing. Even though I may have a mood swing, I have to be able to control my mood swing so people don't see, well, every time I say something he just jumps off or flies off the handle, but he wants us to be controlled and having control when we're talking to an irate customer. You have to exhibit that. That's why when I get home, a lot of times when I was in management, managing people, my family knew, give them a half an hour, let them calm down and relieve, and then I could talk to them. Because remember, even though I have to have that smile, those customer service, you have to have that firmness, you have to have that always that positive attitude. You will basically, when you get home, you have to be yourself. You got to relieve that stress. And there's meditation, other things, other classes will talk, chapters will talk about how to relieve stress as a manager, manager. Now, emotional intelligence. We look at emotional intelligence, or EQ, and emotional intelligence, how am I socially active? I could be a real jerk and still be a manager, or I could be a respected manager that is a servant manager, that is a charismatic type of a manager, the one that gets people doing. And that's because of my emotional, I know how to deal with situations. A lot of times I realize when people yell at me as a manager, they're not yelling at me because of me. They're basically yelling at me because of company policies or something I'm making them do that they feel uncomfortable, but I'm trying to push them. Remember, as a manager, my job is not to break an employee. My job is to basically push them and stretch them so they, just like a coach for someone that's doing a workout. He or she's there always to, hey, you could do it. One more mile. Come on, you could do it. You're like a coach. You're pushing people. But, if they don't know how to do it, you give them the positive reinforcement. You also train them and give them, here's how you should be running. Here's the food you should, when you're running, run with your arms like this so you get the momentum. All this is part of a coach. This is all part of the things that you're doing as a manager, okay? All right, emotional intelligence, empathy, self-esteem, decision-making, all this makes me a good manager. If I don't have any of these, I won't be a good manager, all right? So we have this, and, self-awareness, knows his own strength, managers, okay? And you have a social awareness and relationship management. All these, you have to know yourself, and then you take, because you know your strengths and weaknesses, and you take this how to manage others. You have to be, if you don't understand yourself, you never do well. And in here it says do a quick EQ using figure 8. I've got an electronic version. I got different ones. So you could try a couple ones. There's no one way to really look at the emotional intelligence. We are all unique. We are all different. Every one of my employees, we have similarities. We are the same age group. But even in the age group, you have people that have different. I may be a Christian. I may be a Muslim. But even within there, I have different sects, affiliations within that. I could be a Protestant. I could be a different type of. I could be a Catholic, whatever. Do you see what I mean? So even in an individual, when I compare, there's a lot of likeness of us. We all may be teenagers. We all may be Generation Y, Generation X. But within there, we have subgroups within that subgroups. Okay, and all the values and ceremonies. Stories and language. Those are 4 drivers of culture. Okay, so when I look at founders, if I look at this one, the ASFI, attraction, selection, and attrition, I usually will hire someone that is attracted to me. I look at the nonverbal. When you take me for principles of marketing or principles of salesman, sometimes I'll teach, we look at the nonverbal. What attracts me to another person? Sometimes it's opposite. And a lot of times it's, why do I like something about someone? They have the same mannerism, they dress the same way, they like the same shows. So it makes that connection. Remember, as a manager, I have to find my little connection. I'm like the in-between individual. So I kind of have to make a connection with all my employees. Just something I can find that they're doing that I am doing. And that's how I make the connection, okay? But the thing to look out with all of this, I will try to always bring the same value. So it's a thing with companies. We'll bring in organization, bring in people with similar value. That's what we're going to hire. Now I want the organization to go to a different direction. So I may have to bring another cultural individuals into this. So I have to have a process through HR to bring a younger generation, to bring more generations Y into the thing, to bring more people who are not the same like me, may have similar values but a little bit different, and that's how the culture grows. It's called a learning organization. And then all cultures go through ceremony, passage, like an initiation, socialization, stories of language, a framework, chakras, so 5 personalities. Oh, let me go back here. Let me just go real quickly because I did pretty good on this one. I'm really surprised. What I want to do is you've got the different values. I talked the attitudes. Don't use the A word. Okay, here's where we go. Chakra. Let's look at this next one. When I look at this one here, and I could just make this one a little bit bigger. Let me see view. I'll just leave it on here. If I look at this one, self-esteem, need for achievement, what do you call affiliation and power, make sure you know these terms that are always in the background because you'll see them on a review. Well, that's about it for what we have about you as a manager. Remember, your own personality. You bring it in when you're being hired. You're being hired. Try not to. I mean, you could take some of the things you like from another manager, but all managers have their pluses and negatives. Hopefully you're taking the positive from the manager and leaving the negative. We all have some baggages as we come as management. Try to look out the baggage. All employees come with some baggage. No one's 100% perfect. So as a manager, try to strip away the baggage and see the good individual and start developing that individual, because how you get promoted is how you as a person, but you have to understand yourself. If you don't understand yourself, how could you you help other individuals. Because once I understand my weaknesses, I can say, here's how I overcame my weakness, or here's how I learned this way. So knowing your things gives you a baseline, and then you learn other people's self, other ways people integrate or different personalities, and then I try to find that connection. Remember, my major is a double major, marketing and management. So basically, the marketing skills, how to get people to communicate, how to talk to different individuals. It's a skill that I learn in marketing, and then in management, it works very well when I'm doing with conflict or dealing with individuals because I can connect and make that connection. Once you make that connection, you don't want a person who's afraid of me because I'm a manager, because I'm firing them or I'm punishing them. I want a person who respects me and thinks I understand what I'm doing. They may not agree with everything I'm doing, but I'm consistent. And this is the type of manager that I follow because he or she's always developing me. And if I do something else, he or she gives me the credit and it doesn't take the credit. And that's how the team develops. And once the team starts being very professional, you as a manager can say, this is my flock or my team. All right. So again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. This is Principles of Management, Business 221, 223. Sorry, Business 223, offered online, either a hybrid or a face-to-face class. A short lecture on this. Read the things. Look at the Connect homework. Do the Connect assignments. Do the print out the PowerPoints that you have here. Let's see what else I do. If I have a mind map, utilize a mind map. Utilize the flash cards and everything else in McGraw-Hill Connect and Learn Smart, and you should do well. And remember, this chapter, I think I did a Learn Smart Connect, so it's a little more interactive, and you'll give me your feedback when we meet in class or online within a forum. Thank you very much. Bye.